It was just another sunny afternoon when I, a single mother, found myself knee-deep in cardboard boxes and packing paper in the living room of my new home. The neighborhood was notably quiet, a stark contrast to the bustling city apartment we had just left. My daughter, just 6 months old, was the reason for our move to this more peaceful suburban area. The house we moved into was charming but old, and it came with the promise of countless DIY projects I was eager to start. While organizing the nursery, I set up a baby monitor, a simple device meant to give me peace of mind as I worked in different parts of the house. The monitor was positioned just right, giving me a clear view of my daughter's crib on the small screen. I tested it, hearing the soft hum of the nursery's air filter through the speaker, and felt good knowing I could hear everything. As the day turned into evening, I continued unpacking, occasionally glancing at the monitor's screen, reassured by the sight of my daughter sleeping peacefully. However, as I moved through the hallway back to the kitchen, a faint whispering caught my attention. It was so soft that at first, I thought I was imagining it. I stopped and listened more closely. There it was again, indistinct whispers coming through the monitor, like a hushed conversation. I shook my head, dismissing it as interference from a neighbor's electronics. After all, these old houses and their outdated wiring could pick up all sorts of signals. But as the whispers persisted, the comfort of my new home became overshadowed by an unsettling feeling that something was not quite right. I told myself it was nothing, just a quirk of the old place, as I continued with my evening, trying to keep the growing unease at bay. One quiet evening, as I was cooking dinner, the soft murmur of the baby monitor perched on the kitchen counter suddenly caught my attention again. This time, the whispers were louder than before, yet still hard to understand. I paused, spoon in hand, listening intently to the static-filled whispers. It sounded like someone was talking, but that couldn't be right. I quickly walked over to the nursery to check on my daughter, but she was soundly asleep, completely undisturbed. Relieved yet still puzzled, I went back to my cooking, deciding to ignore the strange whispers. Over the next few days, the whispering didn't stop. It only got clearer and more frequent. While folding laundry or doing dishes, I would catch my name being whispered through the static. "Lisa," it would say, in a hushed, eerie tone. Hearing my name sent a chill through me each time. It was too specific to be a coincidence, and the sound of my name spoken by an unseen voice made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Despite the growing fear, I tried to convince myself that it was still just crossed signals, maybe snippets of conversations from somewhere nearby. I didn't want to believe that it could be anything more sinister. But then, one night, everything changed. As I was getting ready for bed, the baby monitor crackled to life with a voice so clear it sounded like the person was standing right next to it. "Leave this house or you'll regret it," the voice threatened, cold and menacing. The blood drained from my face as I listened, frozen in fear. This was no interference. It was a direct threat against me and my baby. Panicked, I ran through the house, checking every lock, every window, under beds, and in closets for any sign of an intruder. There was no one. Shaking and scared for our safety, I grabbed the phone and called 911. My voice trembling as I explained that someone was threatening us through the baby monitor. The wait for the police to arrive was agonizing, every minute stretching on as I held my daughter tightly, jumping at every sound. When they finally did come, they searched the house thoroughly but found no one. They suggested that the threat might have come from someone hacking into the baby monitor's frequency, a possibility that made me feel even more vulnerable in my own home. After confronting my neighbor and capturing his confession on camera, I didn't waste any time. I called the police again, this time with solid evidence in hand. They arrived quickly, and I showed them the video of my neighbor admitting to everything. The officers listened intently, their expressions growing more serious as the video played. As soon as it ended, they went straight to my neighbor's house and took him into custody. It was a relief to see him being led away, but I was still shaking, realizing just how much danger my daughter and I had been in. The police conducted a thorough investigation of both our houses. In my home, they discovered several small devices hidden around, all designed to listen in and manipulate the electronics like my baby monitor. It was terrifying to learn just how extensively he had been watching us. The investigation revealed that my neighbor believed he had inherited the rights to my house from his relatives, and that by driving me out, he could reclaim it. This delusion explained his actions, but it didn't make them any less frightening. The police informed me that my neighbor was suffering from significant mental health issues. His family confirmed that he had a history of untreated problems and agreed that he needed help. He was taken for a psychiatric evaluation and placed under care where he could receive the treatment he desperately needed. It was a sad situation, but I was grateful that he was getting help and would no longer be a threat to us. Throughout this ordeal, the support of the police and the understanding of my neighbor's family were crucial. They worked to ensure my safety and helped to resolve a terrifying situation in the most peaceful way possible. I was left deeply shaken, but also relieved that the threat was gone. Knowing the full extent of what had happened, I could finally start to feel safe in my own home again. After my neighbor was arrested, I took some time to reflect on everything that had happened. It was terrifying to realize just how vulnerable my daughter and I had been. But with the situation resolved, I felt a huge relief. I knew that I needed to do something to prevent this kind of thing from happening to anyone else. I became an advocate for mental health awareness and security in technology within our community. Sharing our story, I encouraged my neighbors to take precautions and understand the importance of addressing mental health issues. I also upgraded the security in our home, installing state-of-the-art systems to ensure our safety. Every camera and sensor added made me feel a bit more secure, a bit more in control. I became more vigilant, always aware of our surroundings, and committed to maintaining our safety. This experience, as harrowing as it was, empowered me to stand my ground. I felt a stronger bond to my home, having defended it from what could have been a dire outcome. Now, I focus on creating a secure and loving environment for my daughter, aware of the dangers that lurk, but ready to face them with new strength and determination.